there's a number of things you can do. For a lot of bartenders, they bartend until they reach a certain age and they realize like um, it's physical work. It starts to wear on you, right? I know a lot of bartenders
Yep.
that have like shoulder problems and things like that, and maybe they move into management, right?
Okay.
Managing a bar, managing a restaurant, managing a restaurant group, right? Maybe that leads you to ownership or opening your own place. Um, for some people like myself, I don't really have much interest in all of the other sort of overhead that comes with owning a business, right? Um, you could um, work for a brand, right? So I've dabbled a little bit in that.
Right. Has that been through like your stuff with Fortaleza then, or?
Exactly. So they work with bartenders to help lead their trips down to Mexico, right? Whereas we are the bartenders, right? We can speak that language, but we also know the area now, having been down. I've been down 15 or 16 times um, to like help acclimate some of these folks who have never been, maybe even out of the country before, to
Right. Yeah.
understand where their spirits come from, why they taste the way they do, what makes them so interesting. Um, and so the luxury of travel is really incredible. I wouldn't have been able to go to some of the places that I've been if it wasn't for the line of work that I'm in now. Um, and um, and then you can translate that into full-time brand work if you wanted. I know some of my friends now work full-time for Tanqueray Gin or Maker's Mark or right now, and they do a very different sort of work there, but they're still getting to engage with the community that they sort of grew up with, right? So that's a different angle, right? And then others will, some will bartend forever. That's great. Some will move into consulting, where you get to work on lots of different projects. So there are some folks, even some people here in Boston that you'll basically see them at like every single restaurant opening, right? They will offer their services, right? And they'll help a restaurant get off the ground. It's a very specific set of skills. Um, and they'll work there for, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months, and then they'll move on to the next opening, right? No hard feelings, no like, angry exit or anything like that, but just like hey, I'm going to help you like get this train like moving in a certain direction, and then I'm going to excuse myself and go work on another project.
Right.
Um,
It's like people who like some people like to be in the corporate world, but there's others that like to be in startups. And as soon
yeah,
as a
exactly.
startups, grows big enough, it's not a startup and you just
Right.
move on. Yeah.
And you're like, cool, like I push this ball up the hill to a certain point and I feel good about that and I'm going to go like help somebody else, right? And there are folks like that too. One of my good friends in Baltimore, they have opened, I think it's like 13 bars in the last 3 years or something like that.
Wow.
Um, where
And I
it's
assume
just
it's more
been
like 13 the last two. 'Cause, like I assume a lot of bars
well,
didn't
right.
open in the
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, yeah, fair. So yeah, um, there's definitely a lot of different avenues now.